Today I want to talk about voice, specifically my speaking voice. I acquired language the same way other hearing kids do. I acquired speaking naturally. I'm an only child, and my mom's a stay-at-home mom. And my family happens to be loud. So it was easy for me to acquire. When I started speaking wrong, my mom would look at me and say, no, 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 look at my lips. So she taught me to lip read without realizing it. And it wasn't until kindergarten that my hearing loss was diagnosed. And at that time, I had language. And I've never had speech therapy. Ironically, my hearing husband and hearing son both have had speech therapy. Sometimes it just happens. I feel funny sometimes with my speaking because there are times where I can hear something in my head and I can't express it. And the sounds in here and what comes out of my mouth are not the same. So it's frustrating at times. But when I tell people I have a hearing loss or they know I'm hard of hearing, I receive some odd reactions. I've been told my speaking is beautiful. I've been told I speak perfectly. Perfect. What is that? I mean, as I said, I've never had speech therapy. I haven't worked so hard at, expressing myself verbally. So to tell me I'm perfect, or I speak perfect because I'm not perfect, that is just something that's so odd. All right, Oreo coming again. And so it almost feels insulting because I just speak how I speak. That's it. And there are often times where I wish that I sounded like I had a hearing loss. Because if I spoke and I sounded hard of hearing, then people would know to react to me differently. If I spoke and there was, it got an instinct that maybe something is not right, then they might slow down, they might speak louder. But what happens now is when I miss something and I say, I'm sorry, I missed that, can you say it again? And they'll look at me funny because I'm young, because I don't sound hard of hearing. That means I shouldn't have a hearing loss. Now, I'm getting older. There will be a day when it's susceptible for me to have a hearing loss because it's only acceptable for older people, right? But I just get those odd reactions. Hi. She may be deaf, but she thinks signing is for scratching. So there might be a time where it's more, acceptable for me to tell that I have a hearing loss. So, that's an odd thing, and that was one reason I was a little nervous about starting the vlogs, because I present hearing. I don't show my disability. I don't show my hearing loss unless you see that I have hearing aids on. But I shouldn't have to show or prove myself. It just happens that my disability is not always easy to see. It's not shown on just looking at me. On the other hand, I've been signing for about 15 years. So my cell feels still, basic at times. So I'm also a little awkward because I present myself as someone who knows ASL and is part of the deaf community, but my own skills are not full, strong ASL. And that's, a concern. I know in the deaf community, we tend to have a variety of skills because not all of us were born and given ASL at the start. So it depends on how we acquired language, when we acquired language, and when we acquire which language. So I know that most people tend to alter their own signing style to help communicate. And I know in my former jobs, when I worked in the deaf community, I tended to adapt to the best of my abilities to the person I'm signing to so that we could communicate better. So, I mean, communication, that has a lot to do with hearing loss. And how somebody communicates is a lot of how they're observed, how people react to them. It's huge. And I always go back to the speak perfect. What does that mean?